We have a new SMG in Destiny 2 for Guardian Games, the Tidal. 750 RPM Void. It's got an interesting intrinsic trait. So in this video, I'm going to fully break it down, the perks, how it works, where it works, and how much that trait's actually helping you. It's obtained from the event going on. It concludes at the end of May, so if you want one, play Guardian Games. How do you get them? No one knows. At this time, it appears to be bug. Hippie was asking on Twitter if players were getting drops. Nobody is, so it's got to be a bug. I would assume maybe you get them from the Guardian Games playlist. Maybe you get it from turning in gold medallions or platinum. Maybe you get them from the torch ceremony. I don't know. It's got a rough start here, rocky start. Not really a fan of that. But what I'm mostly not a fan of is that the training playlist for Guardian Games doesn't include at least overload champions. You know, the ones that you could actually use this thing on. You look at all the mission modifiers, it's barrier and unstoppable. The event is highlighting an SMG. Those use overload. It's an oversight, maybe, but not a fan. That sucks. Now, there's a couple more things that I do want to touch on at the end of the video, more like this, but let's actually get into the weapon. Void 750 RPM aggressive frame. It has PvE and PvP capabilities. Now, in PvP, these deal 22 to the head, 15 to the body, rounds of 16, 9 crit headshot coming in at 750 RPM. That's a 0.64 TTK. Pretty good. You have to land 100% crit, but it's there. The main damage perks for the Crucible is going to be Focus Fury and Swashbuckler. Focus Fury has a 0.56 TTK, and Swashbuckler max stack is a 0.48 TTK. Good numbers there. These things, historically, the aggressive frame has had low stability, low reload, low aim assist. The aim assist on this thing is 32. Not good. Very felt on a controller, possibly even mouse and keyboard. No matter where you're at, you definitely feel it outside of its intended range because of that stat. I will say this though, as a controller player and as a hater of Cold Front and many other aggressive frames, there's only been a couple that have stuck out. This one actually feels pretty good. It feels normal. Kind of feels like the Extraordinary rendition. It's got 2 origin traits. The first one, the Hake Breach Armaments, 15% increased damage against vehicles, turrets, barricades, and stasis crystals. And come to think of it, this actually might be the first energy Hake weapon ever. It might be. If you can think of another, let me know. But if so, that's a plus. That's pretty cool. And what I think is actually helping it, it's got this weird kind of boxy scope. I don't mind it. It's got a 1.5 times zoom. Let's remember, they're nerfing SMGs. For some of them, they brought the base zoom from 13 to 14, and other ones they kind of knocked back a little bit, like Shire's Wrath, 17 to 16. Multi-Mach Max Zoom, 17 to 15. The Huckleberry, 13 to 15. So this being a 1.5, this 15, it's actually right in the middle. It's good for it. I think that's helping the stability a little bit. Not bad at all. Now the other trait, a new one, Classy Contender. Final blows with this weapon grant class ability energy. Now after testing this, I feel like I'm pretty close. And I feel like I'm pretty close because I start and stop cooldowns where I think that they do their timing, the same frames that they do. And what confirmed that for me, the Bastion Void aspect, they made it 82 seconds, up from 53 seconds. And they say that this matches the recharge rate of the Warlock Rift. And in my ability cooldown spreadsheet for variable cooldowns, I had the Warlock Rift at 82 seconds at tier 3. So this trait, it works after a kill. It doesn't matter if it's a red bar, it doesn't matter if it's a yellow, if it's a boss, if it's a guardian, it just doesn't matter. It gives the same percentage. It doesn't appear to have a scalar. That's where I'm getting. Now this percentage, I tested the Hunter Dodge at tier 10, at tier 1, I tested the Warlock Rift, and got similar results. So like at a tier 10 on the Dodge, after a kill, it knocks off about a second. With the Warlock Rift, it knocks off about 2 seconds. And then with the lower, it gives a little bit more, but that just tells us that it's percentage based. So I then compared it to Wellspring. Let's remember, Wellspring, after a kill, it gives 8% ability energy to your uncharged abilities. Now, if you use your class ability, and it's the only one uncharged, it gives the full 8%. So Wellspring is faster, which I thought that was going to happen. But the class ability that it's giving isn't worthless. It does help. I was running around with the Warlock with the Secant Filaments and the Crucible, and I was getting those rifts back pretty quick. So this isn't hard numbers, but it feels like it gives about 4 to 5% ability energy per kill. So that means, like, if you were to run around with your Hunter with an 18-second dodge and you start getting kills, there's going to be a little time between those kills. It might take 12, 13 kills to get it back pretty quick. And that's back to back to back. And I was using it with Void 3.0. I was using it with Volatile Rounds, and it didn't appear that the Volatile Round explosions helped. It was just pure kills. And that kind of swings things a little bit. Once I start talking about the perk and perk combinations, I think there are clear winners here. But as far as the class ability helping you, it does. And where it's going to help you the most, and that's kind of the decision to be made. I think better options. Like, I think that funnelweb, strictly because of Ice Stinger, and I think that the Shire's Wrath, with the ease of getting Golden Tricorn going with Void 3.0, I do think that they're better options. I do. But you can build to this with certain things. And with certain things, I mean Heart of Inmost Light, Secant Filaments, Bacchus, Dragon Shadow, Stag, anything that involves that class ability energy, it's just a little extra thing on top, or like Nezrak Sin, right? Just a little extra thing on top. This thing does have damage perks. It does have One for All. It has Swashbuckler. It has Focus Fury, things like that. So you can get Void 3.0 going in PvE, and all those kills that you're slaying out with, you're also getting some class ability on top. So it's not bad, but it is best suited for those types of exotics. I wouldn't take this into a GM. I wouldn't take this into a hard loss sector when a season starts. I would be taking funnelweb. I would be taking Shire's Wrath. And I think most would do that as well. So what it comes down to is you need to get it in your hands to see if you even like the thing. I was a little skeptical at first because it's an aggressive frame and I've had a lot of bad experience in the past, but this one actually feels good. And it is best paired with those class ability exotics. And what's nice about it, out of the gate, even though it has some poor starting stats like the stability, aim assist, reload, it does hit other places. Like it has a recoil direction of 85, it's vertical. So that means if you do chambered, extended, arrowhead, it's either gonna be 95 or 100. Arrowhead's gonna get it to 100, the +9 handling, that's not a bad thing. Chambered is actually, I think, pound for pound the best for it because it's 95 recoil direction and it gets the stability to 37. Gives a little bit of help. I would stay away from full bore, even with M and K, because there's a second part of this I'm gonna get to with the perks. Like it gets you to 60 range, but it's got 19 stability. You're at the mercy of RNG, just slot best available. When it comes to the magazine, it's got a poor reload, so something like extended mag, like it tanks it to 13 reload, right? Not good. So if you go mag-wise, it's gotta be appended, it's gotta be tack. Otherwise, it would be high cal or ricochet. Mercy of RNG, slot best available. I would personally want high cal. When it comes to the perks, there's no real earth-shattering combination here. You're kind of getting what you're getting, and I feel really comfortable talking about this and comparing it to the funnelweb and comparing it to Shire's Wrath because we've seen these combinations. The mystery about this thing was how that trait works, and the trait's pretty decent. It's not great, it's not bad though. Vice Stinger and the Golden Tricorn Shire just kind of overshadows. But PvE-wise, I think that there's a clear winner of Stats for All, One for All. Simply because Stats for All is giving 30 handling, 30 reload, more stability, more range. For 10 seconds, it matches up with One for All's 10 seconds of 35% more damage. And since it doesn't have Vice Stinger, since it doesn't have mega damage like Golden Tricorn, your best bet is to get through things as fast as possible. That way you can get your class ability energy, right? Focus Fury can work, and there's also things like Threat Detector, Surrounded, maybe Steady Hands, One for All, Steady Hands, Focus Fury. There's also the tried and true Grave Robber Swashbuckler, and I'm gonna talk about that more in the PvP section. It's just that, you know, when it comes to higher end content, even things like harder lost sectors, right? Think of when season 17, 18, 19, when those come out, you're going into those lost sectors severely underleveled. You're not going in to go punch a shank, okay? I mean, you do you. You like to live dangerously. But Grave Robber's kind of a tough sell when something like Stats for All is just right there just to hit enemies. Vorpal's interesting. There are some interesting things here, but I think with its trait, compared to a funnelweb or the Wrath or some other void options, you want to get through things as fast as possible. That's why Stats for All, One for All, possibly Perpetual Motion or Threat Detector with One for All. It does have a place. Now for the Crucible, I actually put a lot of value in dynamic sway reduction. Not only for it adding the 10 stability, that's cool, but it's mostly for greatly increasing accuracy after sustained fire of a half second, almost negating the effects of bloom, right? So you have to think, you got a 32 aim assist stat. There is some cone decay on everything, right? It's already got poor stability, so it's not really resetting very good. And like I said, you will feel this thing outside of range, dude. It feels so bad outside of range. Adding accuracy to it, and that includes targeting on your helmet, is gonna help it tremendously, right? Just connect. And that's where I put my value, even if you're using M and K, right? Accuracy is something, to me, it's the most important stat in the game, because when your accuracy is high, your shot's crisp. That isn't to say that the improved hipfire grip wouldn't be good, because it could be. That isn't to say perpetual motion wouldn't be good. I mean, perpetual motion out of the gate at ×2, those poor stats it's helping. It gets the reload to 51 overall, handling 73 overall, and then the comically bad stability to 38 overall. But still, it's helping it along. And a lot of the time, it's a sleeper here. Threat Detector works when you're 15 meters and in from an opponent. This thing's fall off is right around there. And at that point, you get 15 stability. You get 40 stability if there's 2 enemies. So Threat Detector is an option on this thing. And on the other side, the options that stick out for the Crucible are going to be mostly Moving Target and Swashbuckler. And to tell you personally, the ones I'm looking for are Grave Robber Swashbuckler and Dynamic Sway Swashbuckler. And then if it falls to me, Dynamic Sway Moving Target. And dude, Moving Target giving 10 aim assist is actually a pretty big deal on this thing, believe it or not. So it's worth a shot. But, you know, I'm mostly looking for Grave Swash. And I say that because I do think that there's going to be some fall off in special play next season. In Trials, it's going to be the same. But like in 6v6, possibly even comp, I don't know about comp, but mostly 6v6, and I play a lot of it. A lot of you do too, right? People are going to be dropping 1 bricks. People are going to have less effective shotgun range, less effective fusion range. The melee is going to be there. And when you think about melee, you think Syntheseps, you think Deadly Reach on Top Tree Arcstrider, you think Ophidian Aspects. If you're able to get melee final blows, refresh the magazine, goes right into Swash ×5. But all in all, it's a good weapon. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It does have value. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to have to, what I recommend is try an ability build. It could be as simple as the Stag, simple as the Dragon Shadow, simple as the Titan's Ramparts, whatever it is. Pair this thing with it and get some kills. Try to utilize that exotic. If you notice a good uptime on it, then yeah, you can build around it and it does work. But it might not be for some of you. Some of you are going to stick to your funnel web, and that's totally understandable. And it's just a shame how things are starting off with it, because I really wanted to get into some of these roles. But since we know the main thing, the mystery, was the trait, it does work less than Wellspring, about half of Wellspring. You also have to think too, say you use that dodge, pop that rift or barricade if you have on double kickstart, that helps tremendously, and build around and lean into those class ability exotics. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about the title down below, Guardian Games. What combinations are you looking for, and do you think that this trait is going to help the things that you like to do? Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.